This Lenovo Yoga is in my repair shop because the customer says it needs a new battery. And now I need a tetanus shot. Because the condition of this laptop might look normal to you, but for those of us who take showers, this is filthy. And the inside is even worse. My customer has many animals, ranging from a guinea pig to your little brother. And with so much hair from so many different beasts, this laptop is like a Noah's Ark of pubes. But just like the post office, I also have a motto. Neither pubes nor dust, nor skeet nor hair, shall keep
the greatest technician that's ever lived
from doing repair. And even though this just came in for a battery, there's no way I can hand it back in this condition. So let's crack these fans open and start adding variety to my ever-growing swamp gooch collection. Delightful. Well, after my HVAC system has been thoroughly contaminated, there's only one thing left to finish this cleaning. Your auntie's toothbrush. After vibing out the leftover dust, we can finally see that golden goodness. And after replacing the battery and killing Lupe in the process, just kidding, he's fine. It's time to give this Yoga a deep scrub before giving it a clean bill of health and burning everything it touched. Namaste. The Acer Nitro 5 is the Nissan Ultima of gaming laptops. It's cheap, unmaintained, and always filled with biohazards. And this one's here because the charger isn't recognized, which, upon inspection, was quite clear why. It's fucked. And with a new charger plugged in, problem solved. But I'm not done yet. The customer also mentioned the laptop randomly shuts off even with a full charge, which, judging by the condition of the outside, is probably being caused by an entire ecosystem of nitro pubes growing inside the heatsink. So after I made sure my shots were up to date, I popped it open and was greeted with this. The customer mentioned they had a dog. They did not mention the dog lives inside the laptop. Well, unfortunately, I have to serve an eviction notice to Old Yeller here using my tweezers. And to get to the rest of Petco's grooming department, I have to unscrew the two fan screws and lift up this tape, which is so covered in hair my fingers can't even grip it. Well, this explains a lot. Both sides, too. Yikes. These gaming laptops might as well be called lint machines. I mean, for Christ's sakes. Alright, let's plug in this doghouse and check those temps.
The greatest technician that's ever lived.
Anyways, temps look fine under a stress test, but I'm gonna repaste it just to be safe. Moral of the story? Use your laptop on a bed, your GPU will soon be dead. You've heard of the MacBook, but have you ever heard of the lint book? This 2015 MacBook Pro came into my shop with an issue that's super common on these otherwise very reliable models. And that issue is the keyboard and trackpad not working. A problem caused by the trackpad cable getting damaged by crumbs of food and drugs. Now I've replaced hundreds of these, so of course this job is no match for
the greatest technician that's ever lived.
I just have to unscrew the bottom case and pop it open to... Pardon my surprise, but despite the rumors, this is the first time I've ever been MacBook hockeyed, and it was not very pleasant. But as bad as this looks, it's very light dust of the scrotum variety, so with the help of the air duster you can find in my Amazon store, and my overhead air purifier, it was easy to clean. Now to actually fix the problem. See how this cable has more dents than your Gam's Camry? That's because debris sneaks into here and gets pushed against these copper lines that are even more fragile than my ego. When this happens, the trackpad and keyboard stop communicating, like me and my ex-wife. The fix is simple. Unplug the battery, unscrew two screws, unplug the cable, unclip from the trackpad, flop around the new one to test its flaccidness, clean the battery, and success. Why is this I Buy Problems desktop in my computer repair shop? Is it the dust? No. Is it the video card? No. Is it the fact the power supply caught fire and almost burned my customer's house down? Yes. This is an I Buy Power gaming desktop, and it's here because my customer heard a pop, smelled something burning, and saw smoke pour out of the back. While that may be normal for a BMW, it's not normal for a computer. But before I can dig into the goods, or bads, I need to take it outside before my lungs fill with dust of the ball variety. Thankfully, this specific model has a dust filter under the front panel. This filter needs to be cleaned often, and this is the face it makes when you don't do that. But I'm here to turn that frown upside down, or in this case, completely disintegrate it before fleeing when the EPA shows up to investigate. And putting the panel back on is easy.
Hey, yo, wasabi, it's upside down.
Testing the power supply is even easier, especially when you have a spare one and tiny raccoon-like fingers. Perfect. But I'm curious as to what actually failed on this power supply, and turns out this thing called a thermistor decided it would function better if it were ash. Something Gary Oak could never come to terms with. So from now on, this I Buy Power is now known as I Buy Power Supplies. Someone threw out this perfectly fine, totally working, mint condition MSI gaming laptop. Let's find out why. This is an MSI gaming laptop from 2014, and it's a piece of shit. It overheats so bad it gives the case bubble guts. The hinges break up more often than your wife and her boyfriend's, and to do any upgrades or repairs, you need to take the entire motherboard out. Because fuck you, buy more stuff. Anyways, I found this gooch-tastic disgrace of technology at the bottom of my recycler's e-waste bin. And even though her face was mangled, she was really cheap, so naturally I couldn't resist. Now, it did power on when plugged in, but the fans were whining louder than you after losing a game of Valorant, which means it's overheating. So, with a magical touch of my tiny raccoon-like fingers, I removed the motherboard to expose 9 years worth of neckbeard flakes, which are so thick, I need to bring it out back and utilize my favorite tool, your sister's toothbrush. After 9 years worth of waifu pillow lint has been removed, it's time to repaste these crusty chips. Ugh. I haven't seen silicone this dusty since Pam Anderson's tennis shoes. New paste is on and... Welp, my inability to spot obvious signs of motherboard damage is what makes me
the greatest technician that's ever lived.
But what's crazy is the laptop installed Windows and everything works perfectly fine, so I have no idea what those chips do, but clearly they weren't needed. This is what happens when your computer smokes 2 packs a day and is never cleaned. This box of carcinogens came into my repair shop because it suddenly shut down and now there's no power. Judging by the amount of smoke dust, it's fair to assume it was also coughing up blood. But before I crack open this box of cancer, I need to take it outside and hose it down with fresh air. Something you and these poor vents have never felt. I mean, holy shit. This has been collecting more dust than your Tinder inbox and has more cobwebs than your toothbrush. Well, after those fans are secure, it's time to blow. And man, I've never been so intimidated to blast a box with my tool. But here goes nothing. My watch should be giving me a warning about the air quality, not the noise. While the spirits of a million Marlboros roll to the afterlife, Lupe's fighting off the ghosts of emphysema's past. My gloves haven't been this dusty since I was elbow deep and your grandma always told me not to judge. And because I grew up in a house full of smokers, I'm sure our computer looked the same way. She also knew how to make a mighty good roast, a quality that was passed down to the
Greatest technician that's ever lived.
Anyways, this stuff is so thick, I'm gonna need not 1, but 2 toothbrushes. Lucky for me, your extended family lives behind this oven. So, using my newly acquired tools, I dual-wield this PC into submission until it's no longer a health hazard. Then, bring it back into my shop where it takes me 5 minutes to figure out the motherboard is fucked. What a surprise. This laptop isn't so bad. Holy mother sh**. This Alienware crash landed in my shop because it's suffering from erectile dysfunction and getting hotter than the plutonium that powers it. This visitor from Planet Lint must have heard that
the greatest technician that's ever lived
was Earth-based, so they stopped in to cool down their overheating spaceship. And judging by the stripped and missing screws, it seems a life form of lesser intelligence has previously worked on this machine. But nothing can stop my drive to inhale foreign substances, so I powered on through all 6,000 screws until I finally got to the heatsink and was greeted by what I assume is crusty alien spermal paste. It's been 3 light years since this was last changed, so it's up to me to clean up this galactic biohazard and lay down a new sheet of space paste so these poor pieces of silicon can stay cool. But most importantly, we need to clean out the radiator that powers this twin-turbo V12, and holy sh**, it's an actual blanket. Make that 2 actual blankets. Whew. Alright, all clean now. I don't think I'll ever see a vent clogged that bad again. What the f*** is this? Oh god, it won't let go. Well, after performing an autopsy on these fluffy parasites, I document the size of this organism for history's sake, before returning this space odyssey to its proper temps and giving it a good polish before it's clear to lift off back to its homeworld, leaving behind no evidence except some stardust and space pubes. So long, my fuzzy traveler.